Another loaded show coming your way on Philadelphia Eagles now, but first, we are getting closer to 40,000 subscribers, about 900 people away. And if you're watching this show, coming across it for the first time, and you're like, you know what, why should I subscribe when there are so many competitors out there and so many options for content? Well, I believe that nobody does what we do here on Eagles Now. Daily Eagles coverage, news, rumors, and analysis. When breaking news happens, we bring you videos instantly. We also do live shows every single week, watch parties for games, and what we pride ourselves on is giving you Eagles content that's both informative to help you learn about the Eagles as well as the game of football, but we also like to entertain as well. I think that we can get the 40,000 subs by the time of next week's playoff game, so lock us in and subscribe today. This is Philadelphia Eagles Now. I'm Chase Sr. Hope all of you out there are having a fantastic day and week. We have a great show on tap for you all today. Are the Eagles getting disrespected yet again? I know that we all love this underdog mentality, so I'm kind of cool with it. Shane Steichen, Jonathan Gannon replacements. If they leave for a head coaching job elsewhere in the NFL, put together a list of candidates that I would like here early in the process if that were to take place. Some potential Eagles opponents. We'll look at the teams that they will play next week depending on what happens in the wild card round. And I'm starting to get a little bit more concerned about this Jalen Hurts shoulder injury. We will explore that as well. First, though, if you think the Eagles can win the Super Bowl, their second in franchise history, man, going back to 2017 when they won it in 2018, the calendar year, so many great memories. Hit that thumbs up icon, like the video, because I want to get back to those feelings. Okay, from the bird's eye view, Philadelphia getting disrespected once again. And really, when you think about it, all year long, all of the national media types have been detractors. And even though the Eagles have had a lot of success, there's always been a yeah, but. Nobody has believed in the Eagles as true Super Bowl contenders all throughout this year. They stayed undefeated longer than any team in the NFL. Their offense was great. Defense was clicking. But then the excuse then was that the Eagles haven't played anybody. And now it's the Eagles kind of backtracking into the playoffs and backpedaling into the postseason. And the injury to Jalen Hurts hasn't helped. And right now, a lot of people feel as though the Eagles are an unknown. But to be fourth in Super Bowl odds is very interesting considering how good this Eagles team has been all throughout the season. And Philadelphia is now entering the playoffs not playing its best football. So for those people out there who hate Philly, who have a negative stance on all things in the city of brotherly love, this has added more fuel to the fire. But also what's notable is that the odds makers aren't believing in this football team right now when you look at the Super Bowl odds. This according to our sportsbook partner BetUS, but also many sportsbooks out there have the Eagles in fourth place in terms of odds. Kansas City Chiefs leading the way at plus 325. Buffalo Bills at 4-1 odds. San Francisco 49ers favored to win the NFC plus 475. And Philadelphia at plus 500. In the city of brotherly love, we are very familiar with the underdog mentality. We're a blue-collar city. We pride ourselves on hard work, people doubting us, and us proving everybody wrong. It happened back in 2017 when everybody thought that after Carson Wentz went out, the Eagles were toast. They proved the detractors wrong. Can the Eagles do it once again this year? Let's get back to the underdog vibes. Who is your favorite to win the Super Bowl? Is it Philly? Is it one of the other three teams? Maybe a different team not on your screen. Let us know down below in the comment section. To the Eagles' potential changes within their coaching staff. Let's talk Jonathan Gannon and Shane Steichen once again. We did discuss their interview requests on yesterday's show. Go back and watch it if you haven't already done so. But I'm starting to put together a working list that will continue to add names if Jonathan Gannon and Shane Steichen go somewhere else. We know as of right now, obviously they're currently on this staff, but they are fielding other requests for vacant openings across the NFL. Here are some of my Shane Steichen replacements that I like and I think would work really well. And let me explain. Brian Johnson has done a great job developing quarterback Jalen Hurts, has a long-standing relationship with Hurts, going all the way back to his childhood when Hurts' father actually coached Brian Johnson. He's worked with Dak Prescott. He's currently the quarterback's coach, has a good grasp of this offense, so internally, he's a candidate that would make a lot of sense. Frank Reich, really good friends with Nick Sirianni. He's basically the guy that Sirianni looks up to in the coaching ranks in addition to Sirianni's dad. And we know that as of right now, Frank Reich going to be interviewing for the Carolina Panthers job. If he does not get a head coaching job and Brian Johnson isn't ready for the role, or if Sirianni thinks that Reich is the better hire, Reich is a very, very good game caller as an offensive coordinator. I think is a very good head coach. He could work to replace Shane Steichen as well. And then another name out there that I find pretty fascinating for a couple of reasons. Jim Caldwell, former head coach of the Detroit Lions, and they fired him. They hired Matt Patricia, did Detroit, and that franchise went into the toilet, and now Dan Campbell's been able to bring them back. And for Caldwell, coached the Indianapolis Colts back in the day, was a really respected offensive mind by Peyton Manning, and throughout his entire coaching career, he's been a respected offensive mind. This is a veteran who's been around the game for a really long time. I think he, too, could be a good offensive coordinator to replace Shane Steichen. To the other side of the football and the other side of the line of scrimmage, I'm gonna continue to talk about Vic Fangio as probably the best defensive coordinator candidate out there, and he's going to be coveted out there for DC openings. The fingerprints of his defensive style and scheme can be seen everywhere across the NFL. He's also in-house already. He is an Eagles consultant right now, so if you just elevate him up, pay him a lot more money. He's from Dunmore, the neighboring town to Scranton, has Pennsylvania ties, and he's a wonderful defensive mind. What he did with the Chicago Bears when he was DC, what he did with the San Francisco 49ers when he was DC. Under Jim Harbaugh, fantastic. An internal candidate here could be Denard Wilson. He's the current defensive backs coach. We have seen Darius Slay play at an all-pro level. We've seen James Bradbury play very well after he was ousted from the New York Giants. Avonte Maddox has taken strides. Even a guy like Zach McPherson has been playing really good on special teams, but when thrust into duty, he's been pretty solid too. So for an internal candidate, Denard Wilson could make a lot of sense. Chris Richard is the co-defensive coordinator for the New Orleans Saints. The Saints have a great defense because their former DC, Dennis Allen, is now the head coach. Chris Richard is the co-defensive coordinator, kind of works alongside Dennis Allen. But what Richard did with the Legion of Boom and the Seattle Seahawks was fantastic. This kind of a pipe dream here because you'd have to hire him away from New Orleans. And then lastly, Corey Unlin, former defensive backs coach with the Eagles during Doug Peterson's tenure. He then left to become the defensive coordinator with the Detroit Lions under Matt Patricia. He is currently the Niners defensive backs coach and pass game coordinator on the defensive side of the ball. He is a respected defensive mind. He has defensive coordinator experience, has familiarity with this organization, and I think it's a matter of time before he has another opportunity at another defensive coordinator position. So the more valuable coordinator for this Eagles team, who is it? Is it Shane Steichen? That's my vote. Is it Jonathan Gannon? It could be your vote. S for Steichen, G for Gannon. Let us know down in the comment section. And the Eagles, they are the 2022 NFC East champions. Man, that sounds so good. And thanks to our friends at Fanatics, shirts are available, multiple sizes, multiple designs, multiple colors. The black, the midnight green, but also some hats as well. If you want to get swagged up and swagged out for what we hope to be a long Eagles playoff run, use that link down below to cop all of this gear. It's pretty affordable as well. Chatsports.com/NFC East Champs. You plug in that link, you can get those shirts, the hat, countless other options available as well. We'll put that link in the comment section and the description of this video. To the Eagles' possible opponents in the divisional round at Lincoln Financial Field, let's take a look at the scenarios here. So the Eagles will take on the Seahawks next weekend if the Seahawks beat the Niners because the Seahawks are the lowest seed. They will have a rematch for the third time against the New York Giants if the Giants win against Minnesota and the Seahawks lose. They'll also get a rematch against the Cowboys, but a couple of things have to happen here. Dallas has to beat the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The Giants have to lose to the Vikings, and the Seahawks have to lose to the 49ers. Tom Brady will come to South Philadelphia if the Bucs win and the Giants and the Seahawks lose. So those are the playoff scenarios for the matchups for Philadelphia. Take a gander at the NFC playoff picture. This is what you can expect this week. These are also the seedings. Eagles, hey, NFC East champs, also NFC number 1 seed. The road goes through Philadelphia, 14-3, most wins in the regular season in franchise history. Niners, Vikings, Bucks, Cowboys, Giants, and Seahawks round out everything, and then the matchups. 49ers, Seahawks, Saturday, 4:30 p.m. Eastern. Vikings, Giants on Sunday at 4:30 p.m. Eastern. And how about them Cowboys? They're going to lose to Tom Brady again. Monday Night Football, Joe Buck, Troy Aikman, 8:15 p.m. Eastern on ESPN. Of those teams that we talked about, which team do you want the Eagles to face the most? Taking your comments once again down in the comment section. Treat it like a 94.1 WIP Sports Talk Radio call-in line or 97.5 The Fanatic. To Jalen Hurts now. Reasons to be concerned about his shoulder injury. This is something that we've been monitoring. This is something that we're going to continue to talk about. Is Jalen Hurts' injury worse than what the Eagles are letting on? I will tell you this. The verbiage and the wording from Nick Sirianni is not what you want to hear about your franchise quarterback when there is so much in front of you and so much potential for this football team. They won the division, number 1 seed in the NFC. They have home field advantage, but if the quarterback ain't right, that ain't good. Nick Sirianni on Jalen Hurts. He came out of that Giants game sore because that shoulder is still healing. We didn't feel like we were putting him at any more risk of getting more injured, but we knew it was going to hurt him like hell, and we knew it was going to hurt him like hell. But that's the kind of player that he is. It's the kind of teammate that he is. He fought through it because it was important for him to be out there. I guess the positive is that they didn't feel as though there was risk for re-injury, even though I'll tell you that 220 pounds coming down on your right shoulder with a 330-pound defensive lineman, that will hurt and re-injure your shoulder. I can also tell you that when you look at his numbers and when you go back to watch the game tape, I thought that Hurts early made a couple of good throws in which he had to snap it, put some velocity and touch behind it. He threw it downfield to A.J. Brown, had a couple of nice throws to Devontae Smith, but as the game wore on, I thought that maybe the strength in the shoulder waned and he got a little bit sore. 20 of 35, 229, 0 touchdowns, 1 pick. That red zone pick, it was bad. And when you watch Jalen Hurts as well, and Cam Newton kind of had this, Jalen Hurts has a very over-the-top type of motion, and it's very quick and somewhat rigid in which he throws the football. So his arm motion with the shoulder injury, because he does have to put a lot on it, and throw it from so far over the top. He's not really a natural thrower like a baseball player, like a Patrick Mahomes, where you can wing it from all these different arm angles. Jalen Hurts is really right here with the football. And when you have a shoulder injury, given the way that that motion is, that does concern me a little bit. And for Cam Newton, kind of threw the football shorter, more compact, but it was rigid in terms of his shoulder movement. And once Cam had that shoulder injury, he wasn't the same guy, and his completion percentage nosedived. And hopefully that's not going to be the case for Jalen Hurts. So something to watch for as we progress forward here, and that's why it was so crucial for the Eagles to get that first-round bye. Your level of worry with Hurts' injury is what? Scale it for me from 1 to 100. Our last poll question for today's show, 1, not concerned. 100, very concerned. Drop a number down in the comment section. Also, feel free to interact with me on Twitter and Instagram at Chase_Senior. I know a lot of you know this already. Grew up in Westchester, went to Temple. I know so much about this football team, care about the Birds more than anybody out there. That's why it's a pleasure and an honor to host this show. You want to talk Birds? You want to talk sports in general? Let's do it. Even life, hit me up. Look forward to hearing from you.